And now, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the host of the show. He is the student of Blue Goblin. He hails from the Empire State, New York. He has gone on record to say he would bitch slap Emma Frost till she coughs up diamonds. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Mount Vernon Kid!
What's up, everybody? Announcer guy, that was more like it. That was cool. How's everybody doing out there? Mount Vernon Kid here, coming to you again with another comic review for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed last week's comic review, episode 60, I believe. We're up to episode 61. And for all those who have stayed with me since the pilot episode, I thank you very much. But now we're here for the comics for the last week of. Oops, sorry guys. I'm sorry, off camera. The last comics for month of July of 2012, and I got a few comics for you. Once again, I put some comic backs in my pull list that I wasn't. Not that I don't want to get them now. I'm just. It's like I don't really want to read this right now. It's kind of going a little flat, stale for me. And being a good guy that I am, sometimes people come into my comic store and I may have the last copy, or there's no other copy, so I just give it away, like I did for a couple of Journey into Mysteries. I did it for Batman: The Dark Knight. This time, I gave my Dark Knight away to this little boy, this boy that wanted it. So that's just the kind of guy that I am. But I did get a fair share of comics. So of course, being that this is the last week of July, we're gonna the last week of July for comics, basically. As always, the lineup, we're gonna kick off the lineup with DC, Marvel, and then end it off in independent. So let's kick it off with none other than Aquaman, number 11, Jeff Johns, Ivan Reyes. All right, still good. Jeff Johns is still, for some reason, with this book, he's still pretty much knocking them out of the park. We get a little bit more of the group that Arthur was with before, prior to the Justice League, and how they still believe that Arthur has not changed a bit. He's in it for himself. He's still like there are times where Arthur's saying, "I'll go after Manta by myself. I don't need you." And Prisoner of War predominantly has been saying, like, you haven't changed a bit, Arthur. You're still like that since back in the days. Black Manta kidnaps Dr. Sin. I'm forgetting. I hope I'm saying his name right. And Manta wants the treasure of Atlantis. We get to see a little bit more where Arthur got his trident from and everything like that. This has been really, really good. And it's like I said, Jeff Johns has been knocking this series out of the park. I don't want to spoil too much for you guys, but just if you have been staying on Aquaman, continue to stay on it. You won't regret it. By far one of my best titles out of the New 52. All right. So eventually I would go to B for Batman, but like I said, guys, Dark Knight I didn't get. I gave my copy away to another customer. I'll just get it. I'll get another shipment when it comes in later. The comic owner that I know, he always saves me a copy. Put it in my pull box. So we move on to Francis Manipool, and I've been tweeting Mr. Manipool occasionally and telling him, just keep up the good work on Flash. Something new, something fresh. I've been liking it. And Flash number 11, uh, Scorch of Heat Wave. Marcus Toe, who's on the artwork on this, a character artist I've been really loving, starting to really come to like. I like his artworks ever since he's been doing really good on Batwing. Even though I wish Ben Oliver was back. But anyway, Flash is, I wouldn't say he's down. Barry's not down. He has to continue to believe the people that he's dead. You know, so he is no longer in Central City anymore. He's in Keystone City. You know, the Twin Cities, the city right next to Central City. And basically, he has to find a job. He has to get an apartment. You know, from what it said in his book, Batman has been funding him for a while. So he goes into the roughest part of Keystone City, goes into this bar, and he's like, "Hey, can I get a job?" You know, and the bartender's like, "Look, kid, I don't even think this is right for you." And he's like, "No, I'm a good mixer. I can mix anything. You know, I can be a good bartender." So who does he see in the bar? None other than Captain Cold himself. He's there, and he's like, "How the hell did he escape from Iron Heights and everything like that?" And so the bartender says, "All right, you're hired." After a while, and you know, a little conversation goes between Barry and Captain Cold and everything like that. And Barry finds out that this bar is pretty much where all the rogues and all the other bad guys like to come. And so he's like, "Yeah, this is good. You know, this is good. I can find out what's going on." Besides that, there are a lot of arsonists going on, and all of a sudden, Heat Wave comes in, and Heat Wave looks totally different. He's burnt, he's singed. His powers like come from like this harness on him. If you can see right here, that like there's a harness on his chest, like. And Heat Wave and Captain Cold have it out. Heat Wave blames Captain Cold for the way he looks. I mean, it was funny because Barry was like, "That's Heat Wave," and he looks burnt. You know, it was kind of funny. Um, and then you know, Flash has to get involved, and he pretty much stops him really, really quick, just like that. You know, he, instead of, you know, punching and using fisticuffs, he basically creates a vacuum around them, sucking the air out of them, and then they fall out, they get arrested. But still, there's still some more in between that. I don't want to spoil too much for you guys, and I probably have, but I'm liking what Mr. Manipool has been doing with Flash. This has been really good. I've really been enjoying it. Like I said, Marcus Toe's arc was very exceptional, very good. Uh, I can't say I don't hate the new look for Heat Wave, but it kind of makes sense for him to be called Heat Wave and him looking all burnt and crisp and like having like second degree, third degree burns in a way. But yeah, very good stuff. Stay on board and Flash, if you guys. All right, yeah, let's kick it off with Green Lantern. And I'm sorry about the glare, guys. Let me get it. There you go. Green Lantern number 11, The Revenge of Black Hand. So we all know what that's gonna start, right? Rise. That's big up to you, X. Um, Jeff Johns, Howard Mankey on this. Yeah, Black Hand is back, and he's escaped from the Indigo tribe where he was. Um, the Indigo tribe have released. Um, excuse me. Oh boy, sorry about that. Dust went up my nose. Apologize for the sneeze. He's Black Hand has escaped the Indigo tribe. The Indigo tribe have let Sinestro go, and they've also done something for Hal. Remember, his ring was construct under Sinestro, and if Sinestro wanted him to turn it off, he could turn it off. But now Hal, his power is pretty much his own. Like he can do whatever he wants now. It's not like Sinestro is controlling it, and he tests it out. He's like, "Oh, that's good." But lo and behold, Black Hand has escaped, and they got to find him. But we find out Hand has gone back to Earth, and he's resurrected his dead family, I believe. Yeah, you see him with Chinese food in his hand, and he's like, "Mom, Dad, rise." They come up, and they're sitting around a table, supposedly eating Chinese food. But also, lo and behold, Sinestro and Hal get a look into the book of, and they see what's coming next, the Third Army in a way, and yeah, it's not looking good. Basically, those blue-faced bastards, the Guardians, are, like I said, they're Sinestro and Hal know that they're recreating another army to replace the Lanterns, just like the Lanterns replaced Manhunters, and probably how the Manhunters replaced another sentient being of the Guardians. But lo and behold, yeah, it's all about Black Hand in this rise. Good stuff. This was really good. I really enjoyed this. Sometimes, like I said, Jeff Johns can be a hit and a miss, but on this, he was not. He was very good on this. All right. I thought it was funny seeing Black Hand have Chinese food with his dead family or so. That was just really weird. Next up, Green Lantern, New Guardians, The Wrath of Larfleeze. Yeah, it's the gang. Tony Bedard and Tyler Kirkham, basically, who's the artist on this. Tyler Kirkham, very good. Tony Bedard, no slouch. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, Sensei. I'm stealing your words. But yeah, it's a good word. Um, the other members of the respective corps have it out on Larfleeze. They're like, look, we know you're behind this, but is he? That's the true thing. Was he really behind everything? The attack on the Blue Lanterns' homeworld, the stealing of the rings, everything. Was he responsible? Am I going to spoil that? No. You just got to figure out, just have to read this. But the fact is, we find out who was responsible for the theft of the respective rings. And let me tell you, it may be a little surprise to a lot of you. But yeah, it looks like it was a big battle between Larfleeze and the gang. And let's not forget, remember that big archangel, that big powerhouse known as Invictus, still around, wants Larfleeze's head on a silver platter. And yeah, but the fact of the matter is, if you think Larfleeze is behind everything, you are wrong. Gotta read to figure out who was responsible for the rings missing. But other than that, did a good job. Very good stuff. Alright, so let's move on to the last DC book. He's read that name right there, people, if you can see it. Yeah, what does that say? Scott Lobdell. Yeah. You're lucky, Mr. Liddell. There are characters on this book that can only be found in this book that I like, because, this. You get this for trying, not even going to get it. You know why I'm upset with him. But anyway, this actually gets into the story, a little bit of the origin of Cassie Sandsmark of the 52, Wonder Girl's origin, and where she got her armor from, the silent armor as they call it, and what it's doing to her, really. And when she activates it, and as you can see here, she looks truly like some kind of demonic, armored, powered being from hell. Um, Cassie really goes on a she hurts some of her teammates. She hurts Kid Flash. She hurts Solstice. She hurts a lot of people with her new armor. The armor fully activated, and it's like she can't control it. So it's up to Red Robin, Dick Grayson, and Connor to figure out how to stop this, how to get her soul back before it's pretty much consumed by the armor. And lo and behold, the real person who's after the armor as well. It's not looking too good for Cassie as well. But is this the true Wonder Girl, or not? But there was also an interesting fight in here between an individual. I'm forgetting his name right now. Matter of fact, let me look it up real quick, if you don't mind. What was his name? They had a fight with an individual who Bunker thought it'd be cool to get a new member, and you know, um, the character was just playing the Teen Titans. Here's his name. His name is Loose Cannon. Yeah. Um, yeah, Loose Cannon. And he suckered Bunker. It was kind of funny because Bunker was like, he put a ad out on the internet, and Kid Flash, Bart was like, "Are you crazy? You put an ad on the internet, and you brought a total stranger into our home like that and stuff like that." It was really funny, but just kind of giving a tidbit of like, don't trust everything you see on the internet, things like that. But yeah, it was still there despite who wrote it. Yeah, who wrote it? I'm sorry, guys. I cannot agree with what Mr. Liddell is trying to do with Tim Drake. Like I said, here's to you. I got a little bit of sign language for you. Here are these to you. I will not accept the fact that you're trying to say that Tim Drake was never a Robin. He was always Red Robin. Here's to you. All right. So we move on to Marvel. And I got quite a few Marvel books for you guys. And we kick it off. You know him, you love him. He's my favorite and yours. Amazing Spider-Man number... Damn that glare. Amazing Spider-Man number 690. 10 more away from 700. Dan Slott. No turning back continues. Alright, so let's kick it off. The Lizard who is in Kurt Connor's body is trying to get back to his body. But for some reason, all the attempts to recreate the mutagen that turned him into, give him back his lizard form is failing. So he's going around to other people of Horizon, the other scientists of Horizon, getting a little bit of help. And in the meantime, also doing something to them that I don't want to spoil. Lo and behold, Spidey is fighting Morbius. And, Morbius is going around saying he can't control his hunger. He needs to feed. And he even bites Spider-Man. Like one panel, you see him bite Spider-Man in the neck. And, Spidey's like, you know what? Fuck this shit. Okay, I don't have any sympathy for you. Now, I'm just going to beat your ass. And lo and behold, Julia Carpenter, a.k.a. Madam Web, comes on and says, Spider-Man, you're needed back at Horizon. Something is going to happen. And if you don't get there, all hell is going to break loose. And, he's like, you know what, screw you, Julia. You do this all the time. You just try to play mind games with me. First I got to get this vampire off the streets before he hurts somebody. And Julia's like, the vampire is no need. And he's like hell it ain't. Like hell it ain't. And she really starts to go deep, because she's a psychic. She's like, there you go again, blaming yourself for somebody else's death. This is not, Silver Sable's death wasn't your fault. And Spider-Man turns and was like, man, screw that. Like, had to been another way. However, we get a tidbit in this that Julia Carpenter, aka Madam Web, tells Spider-Man right there and there, Silver Sable, and I'm sorry I'm spoiling this guy, spoiler alert, Silver Sable is not dead. And Spider-Man's like, how do you know? I'm psychic. And he's like, oh yeah, right. You're just playing these mind games with me. And she says, go on. I seen her future. She's pretty much alive. So basically saying that Sable is not dead, and maybe Rhino didn't die as well. Okay. Anyway, Spidey deals with, deals with Morbius, and he goes back to Horizon. Lo and behold, we also see Kingpin is involved with the scientists in Horizon. And with Kingpin, Kingpin, if Kingpin's involved, then he wants something. But it's all about basically the lizard in Kurt Connor's body trying to get back to himself and sicking certain individuals on the other people Horizon. And it really gets a little bit dire need, and this was just really good. Dan Slott, Mr. Slott, thumbs up to you, guy. I got to tweet you too and just tell you once again, good job, because you tweeted me back, and I was surprised to see you tweet me back. Um, don't worry, guys. If you want to know my tweet, the tweet will be right there, so don't worry. It'll go along. It'll go along the whole vid. But anyway, other than that, good stuff. Amazing Spider-Man number 690. Good stuff. All right. So we move on to the first book that ties into Avengers versus X-Men. The Avengers number 28. Bendis, Walter Simonson is the artist on this. Bottom line, this book is all about Red Hulk, General Ross. He goes pretty much on a solo mission, basically by himself. It's really good. There was some really good dialogue, monologues between Red Hulk in this book that was really good. I really enjoyed that. He goes on a mission to assassinate Scott Summers by himself. Cap doesn't know about it. Nobody knows about it. And you see him decked out in black with a high-powered, rifle. He goes back into his regular form, and he tries to take out Cyclops. And lo and behold, the bitch comes, and Magneto comes, and everybody like that, and it's a fail. It's a fail, but I love the dialogue that he had in this. Just monologue dialogue that made a lot of sense from an old warhorse like Ross. Basically at the end of the book, which I'll spoil a little bit for you. He doesn't die, but the Cyclops leaves a message for Cap and them on his chest, on Red Hulk's chest, an X on there, and they throw him back. And pretty much, I love the last dialogue that um, uh, Red Hulk gives, which I'm gonna repeat because I don't know it by heart. He, as you can see, he lands. Damn that glare! He lands back in Wakanda. I guess that's where they were. And he says he says okay. I'll give the whole dialogue if you don't mind. He says, when I was in boot camp, our lieutenant said words to use that I didn't understand when I heard them, but now are words I live by. He said, fighting is the most primal form of human communication. If you want to fight, that means there is no other recourse. So if you if you're ready to fight, you better be ready to kill. Because if you're not going to kill, then you're going to lose. Scott Summers just lost this war. Basically saying Scott Summers, they should have killed him when they had the chance. So basically saying because of them not killing him, Scott and his Phoenix 5, well 4 I guess I should say now, have lost this war. And That's how he's looking at it, and I thought that was really kind of a sensible act. You got to remember, this is old war, soldier mentality, and I got to agree with what Ross was saying in this. You know what? They should have killed him. They should have killed him. They're not. Emma wanted to, the bitch wanted to, but Cyclops was like no, and things like that. Even Magneto was like, no, we'll just have a prisoner of war, which was shocking for me for Magneto, but yeah. Uh, so we move on to Captain America number 15. Ed Brubaker and Bunn co-write this together. Um, this is the first story arc of New World, I believe. So it's Cap and the Falcon fighting a group called the Discordians, just like the goddess Discord. Discordian. They're attacking the city, and their purpose is just to cause havoc, all to keep Cap and Falcon and everybody else a part of Cap's group, Saren, Dum Dum, and all that, occupied while the new Madam Hydra and her husband Code Bravo and Baron Zemo put their plan into fruition. And that's pretty much what this is all about. Also, in the meantime, we have I like some, I guess he's supposed to be like the Bill O'Reilly of this book, and he's going on bashing Cap, saying Cap is old school. He's an old warrior, and what Cap needs to just retire. This day and age, we need progress, not this. Cap's not doing. He's not helping with the economy. He's not doing this, yada yada yada, and things like that. And Steve's just watching it, but you know, people are saying, Steve, why are you watching this garbage? And he's like, because I want to hear what this guy had to say. But lo and behold, we find out that that guy that he was watching is not really the real guy because they find his body. Um, but yeah, it was a good start. But it's really getting dire because the Discordians again come back for some more. It's like they can dematerialize themselves and recreate themselves again. But they do it this time all over the world, and even on home turf, known as on the capital itself, the district capital, Washington, D.C. But a good start. Brubaker, still no slouch. All right. So we move on to Rick Mirender, just Secret Avengers number 29. Yeah, this is the only Avengers book of this that has nothing to do with Avengers versus X-Men. So the team is occupied with Venom, Hawkeye, Valkyrie, uh, Eric O'Grady, Ant-Man, and who else is there? I believe that's this. Beast he's with the X-Men right now. Black Widow is out for a while. But anyway, they are still looking for Max Fury and the Shadow Council. They have an inside man that's with them, John Steele. John Steele was an inside man with them. He was their inside man, and he found out about what's going on with Max Fury. Max Fury has brought back the Masters of Evil. I'm talking a huge army. Like, I'm talking about, you got Whiplash there, you got the Constrictor, you got Vengeance, you got a lot of people there, and the team goes in. Also, in the meantime, Rick Remender seems to be teasing once again. Looks like there might be a relationship between, like me, it could be a little bit of a relationship might be going on between Flash and Valkyrie, because they were about to kiss at one point. Flash really kind of goes a little bit overboard in this, he nearly kills somebody, and Hawkeye is like, look, yo, Avengers don't kill. We don't kill. We're not mercenaries. You leave that shit behind. You're not a mercenary. And Flash is like, look, this guy tortured John Steele. He gets what he deserved. I read the file, Barton. I know what he does. Yeah. And I'm like, whoa, okay, this doesn't sound like Flash. This sounds like Venom. You know, this sounds like Venom. And Flash goes on his own when they find out who's involved in this. And let me just tell you, it's a certain task. Yeah, you should know where I'm going with that. That Flash goes and he goes into this underground bar where a lot of the villains hang out, and that certain task is there. Person whose name is Task is there, and it looks like there's going to be a battle between Venom and you all should know who I'm talking about, Taskmaster. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, this was really in depth, especially with um, Venom and Hawkeye. You know, it was like, yo, we don't kill. And other than that, we know Eric O'Grady is still he's under control by the individuals that were the father who's in the who's like the creator of the adaptoids that they fought in the last couple of issues before. So yeah, he's been under control because Human Torch is kind of out of commission right now. Um, so yeah, they're kind of weaned it a while. Same thing with Captain Britain, he's not there, but still, this is really good. Yeah, I'm wondering where you're going with that relationship, Mister Remender. Flash and Valkyrie. And speaking of Venom, Venom number 21, Rick Remender and Bunn again. They work together again. This is the last issue, I believe, of the Savage Six Part 4. So we find out who the crime master is, and lo and behold, if you don't know already, it's Betty's brother, Bennett. Yeah, why does he have to have my last name? um, and it's up to Venom to get Betty back. Betty, um, but Flash still has to deal with a couple of individuals in the form of Max Brand, I believe that's his name. I'm forgetting his name right here. The like computer dude, um, Jack O' Lantern, and Toxin. Damn that glare. Sorry guys. Um, this was just action packed from beginning to start. Um, Flash is doing all he can just to get the Venom, Betty, and even to the point where Toxin even turns on some of his old teammates, and it's a fight between grandson and grandfather. Yes, the symbiotes, not the people. Um, just really just crazy stuff that goes on. Flash even saves Eddie Brock from the toxin symbiote because it didn't fully bond with him. But does he fully? I'm not going to spoil what happens to Eddie Brock after that. But yeah, this was intense, very intense, and it kind of ends on a sad note for Flash in here. But it was good. But I don't think it's over. They say it's one more issue where Flash has one more battle with Jack O' Lantern. Yeah, but I'm not going to spoil what happens to Betty's brother in this. Not at all. If you think he's killed, you're on the right track. Do you think Flash did it? You're getting cold. You're very cold. You're ice cold. But this was really good. Mick Render is going to be really. I'm going to be really sad to see you leave, but we'll see what Mr. Bunn. I think it's Bunn who takes over. So I'll see where he can where he takes you where he takes Venom after Rick Miranda leaves. But it was good. Sorry, tongue tied. All right. Okay, we have none other than Winter Soldier number 8. Brubaker once again, just a pure octane espionage book, people. So we find out that the individual that one of the sleeper agents that um, Bucky trained when he was the Winter Soldier under the Russians, still out there. He's causing havoc. Now he has Black Widow. Bucky's Bucky's really messed up about it. He loves Black Widow. That's his lover. He loves Black Widow, and he doesn't want to see anything happen to her. But he has no choice. He has to find out where she is. So he's getting help from Agent Stillwell, his contact. And but lo and behold, that agent pretty much brainwashes Black Widow, and boy does he brainwashes her to the old Black Widow. We don't see her. We just see her as a dancer again when she was called Natalia, not Natasha. So kind of going back, but it was really good. Just pure octane espionage book, from start to finish. Just really good. I've been really loving this book. It's not a typical superhero book. It's really not a superhero book. It's a spy book. That's all it is. And it's just wondering, will Bucky get Natasha back, and will he stop her brainwashing, and will we see this? First of all, this never happens in the book. There's no fight between Natasha and Bucky, but it might come down to that. And other than that, will Bucky stop the sleeper agent, his former sleeper agent, that he trained? Good stuff. All right, so we'll end it for Marvel with the other two tie-ins into Avengers versus X-Men. First up, we got Wolverine and X-Men number 14, Kitty's Hot Date. Jason Aaron's is, of course, still writing good stuff, but there's a new artist on here called Molina. And basically, the school is short-handed as it is, short-staffed as it is. Kitty is doing all she can to keep it in check. And who comes to see her and asks her out on a date? None other than Colossus. I hate seeing Peter like this. Colossus is one of my favorite X-Men guys, and I hate seeing him like this with the Phoenix powers. And he comes, and he's like, Katya, Katya, that's what he calls her, come out on a date with me. They have seafood, and I'm talking fresh seafood. Basically, let's put it like this. Colossus and Kitty are dining, not at a restaurant. They're dining in between, I guess, I don't know, the river or an ocean. He has parted this ocean just like Moses did, biblical wise. He parted it, and they're sitting in between the ocean or where, and fish are just coming out, and he's like, "How's the fish?" And she's like, "It's quite fresh." He's cooking it, but it's fresh. And Kitty's like, "Look, Peter, we have to talk." And he just goes on and on about, we're power, talk about power and everything like that. They're getting brainwashed right from the get-go. You can see it in this book. And lo and behold, we go to Times Square, where Thing is there fighting Peter's sister. Angel and an Iceman are there, and Iceman's like, "Look, like, Ileana, first let's talk about this. And Thing knocks Ileana away, takes a manhole cover, throws it at Angel, and it's down to him and Bobby. And Bobby's like, "Look, Ben, come on, let's talk about this. Look, we're not the bad guys here." And Thing is like, "Oh, really, Drake? Yeah, so you're just gonna throw me in prison like the other Avengers, right?" And Bobby's like, "Damn it," and he just freezes Thing. And it gets, basically, Bobby just goes to Cyclops and like, "Cyclops, we need to talk. Scott, we need to talk. What the hell are you doing?" It seems like Cyclops he sealed the San Andreas fault. So he's like, "No more earthquakes in no more earthquakes in California. He's going to do this in Africa. He's going to repopulate some tigers in Bengal. He's just going, he's becoming God, and Bobby knows it, and he's like, okay, that's it. I can't do this. Can't deal with this no more. Back with Peter and Kitty, it's not getting any better. Kitty can't get through to Peter. She's like, the man I used to love, this is not him. And then once Kitty starts mentioning the school, that just sets him off, and he's like, this stupid school, Wolverine's little daycare center, I'll burn it down to the ground. And that's where everything starts getting crazy. So Kitty has no choice but to fight Peter, and the X-Men that are there have to help. Husk is there, Warbird's there, and a substitute teacher, Deathlock, is there. And of course, people that are there also. And it gets dire. It gets so crazy that, Kitty nearly phases her hand through into Peter's chest and is willing to kill him just to stop him. And she's like, "Oh, you're gonna kill me, huh?" And she pretty much burns her hand even inside. And he's like, "You can't do this because I am Phoenix." And it was like right there. It was like, there you go. Was I right, people, or was I right? The power is consuming them. They're becoming what they're not. Pretty much right there. And Peter's like, he tries to get his senses back. He's like, I, and he flies away. And lo and behold, Bobby, Angel, and Rachel Summers come back. And we're like, look, Kitty, what happened? What happened to Jean's statue, everything like that? You know, look, we're sorry. We were wrong. We were wrong. We should have. We know now we were on the wrong side. The people we knew, they're not there no more. That's not them no more. And I love the last saying where Kitty says, you know, do a class, teach a class. And if you ever give up the courage, Bobby, to ask me out on a date, if you take me out to a seafood restaurant, you're dead. He's like, yes, ma'am. I thought that was funny. But yeah, just like I said, people, the Phoenix powers are consuming them. They're not, nobody's home no more. They're in whatever bodies they're in, but nobody's home. Nobody's behind that wheel anymore. The Phoenix is powering them now. They're completely gone, just like I said. And you want to see even more worse? Read this, X-Men Legacies 270. You, you thought uh, the brother was bad. The sister is worse. Like I said, she brought a portion of limbo to Earth and is putting some of the Avengers in there, like Spider-Woman, Luke Cage, and Hawkeye. Now Ms. Marvel's in there. And Rogue, she knows it. She's like, look, damn it, I was on the wrong side. She goes in to free Ms. Marvel because she realized that Ms. Marvel is her friend. Ms. Marvel wasn't there to fight her. She shouldn't have thrown the first punch. She realizes that. And she goes, and it was really cool to see them kind of, she's like, look, we got to get out of here. I'm going to get you out no matter what. But I don't, all my powers that I had are gone now. So what is Ms. Marvel? She basically said, look, I know you don't like me doing what I have to do, but she's like, no. Ms. Marvel takes off her glove and is like, look, as long as you ask, let's do it. And she touches Ms. Marvel's hand. She gains Ms. Marvel's power for old time's sake. And I thought when that happened, I was like, thank you, Mr. Gage, for giving us old times of the 90s Rogue when she had Ms. Marvel's powers. But yeah, it got worse. And Ileana, is just as bad as her brother. And I think she truly is worse than her brother. I shouldn't even say just as bad. She's gone bad. She sent, I'm not even going to tell you what she's done to Rogue, but let's just say they're not there no more. Those people that have consumed the Phoenix Force powers, they're not there. And I'm hoping to God that the other X-Men that are standing with so-called Cyclops in a group realize that too. Because, first of all, I cannot see Storm being with them. Not like this when they're like this. Not at all. I'm thinking Storm is going to leave, especially when she finds out what Namor and them try to do to her husband's, her city, because she still is queen of Wakanda. You know, things like that. But this was really good. Still good. It's Christoph Gage, no slouch. But it's all about just seeing how much they're changing. And they're not changing for the better. They think they're gods now. They truly do. And when people have that God complex, it is not healthy at all. So let's move on to Independent. We're going to end it with this pretty long review. But like I said, once again, if you stayed around with me for the longest time, thank you. So we'll kick it off with the Bionic Man number 11, Dynamite. The only Dynamite comic I got this week. So Steve takes some R&R time and he goes back to his hometown, to his parents' house, his parents' farm, and he stays there pretty much to just to have some R&R time with his mom, his dad, who's pretty much dying, and his sister. His sister flew in from Sacramento to be with them on, I believe it's Oregon. Their dad's farm, their parents' farm is on Oregon. Lo and behold, something is stalking Steve, and we see that in the distance. I'm not going to spoil who it is because they show the next issue who it is. I'm not going to spoil it. It's crazy, but Steve is there, and his dad is like really, he has oxygen tanks in his nose. Just give him oxygen. He's dying, and you know his dad doesn't want him there really because he doesn't want to see him like this. So he's like, yeah, I could do it myself. Get out of here. Everything like that. It was really cool to see Steve's mom find out what he really can do because Steve was looking at a horse a horse that he was really as a kid he was scared to ride, and now he's racing alongside it, you know, running alongside, and he's like, "Yeah, come on, old man." He's talking to the horse like, "Come on, old, see if you can keep up with me." And the horse, I'm forgetting the horse's name. He falls into a ditch. The horse is okay, but he's scared, and Steve puts a blind over his face and picks him up. Fireman carries him, picks him up, and takes him out and takes him back to the barn. Lo and behold, that's where his mom sees, and mama, moms, they know something's wrong with their kids. She's like, I knew it. I knew it when you first got here. Something was not right about you. And Steve is like, yeah, the accident, they had to give me prosthetics. He says prosthetics. And he's like, it's top secret, mom, but I'm still me. And she's like, yeah, of course you're you. You're my son, But this was just Steve, just some R&R time. His dad's dying. His sister tells him why his dad's being like this, being hard on him. But a very touching story by Phil Hester. Very good. I can't wait to see that next issue. Who's been stalking him? I don't want to spoil it for you. You're just gonna find out on my next review, guys. Who's stalking Steve? Issue number 12 of the Bionic Man. Uh, good stuff. Good job, Mr. Hester. Good job. And I think we'll end it with none other than TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 12. Kevin Eastman. Salute. Action-packed. Gritty. Story-driven. It's all about the Turtles getting to their father, Splinter, before he is killed by Oroku Saki, the Shredder. And Splinter has been fighting all night. His body is giving out on him. He can't go any longer. And Saki knows that. Shredder knows that, and Shredder's going to use that to his advantage. And, but Splinter still fights through it. He's still finding the will. I believe he would have made a good Green Lantern. Yeah. He's finding the will to keep going on, no matter what, for his family. To keep fighting, but still, it's not enough. But lo and behold, his sons get there, and they fight the Foot Clan. Casey and the Turtles fight the Foot Clan, and they're taking out Karai and dang, I'm forgetting the mutant fox name. Damn it. They're taking them out. Then they're trying to do, the main priority, get Splinter out before Saki the Shredder kills him. Then worry about him later. They get a little help from a reliable source, and then they realize, okay, we gotta tangle with Shredder. Can they do it one-on-one? No. Do they do it together? Yes. They do it together as a team, as a family, as brothers. And fight Shredder to make sure Casey and that ally has time to get Splinter out. It's really good, gritty stuff. I loved it. There's also some more in between that other fan favorite villain of the Turtles and Baxter Stockman and Old Hub, Mr. Hub, the cat mutant. Not going to spoil what happens to them, but it's all about the Turtles getting their father out. Get you right here, man. I loved it. It ended really touching between April and Splinter, because April's like, Splinter, I'm glad you're alive, because I never got to tell you thank you for saving my life back in issue #1, when Splinter, when he's still just an ordinary rat, saved April from the Foot Clan and everything like that, when she was still working under Baxter Stockman. That was touching. Really good. I can't wait. Still, after 12 issues of reading this series, excellent job, Mr. Eastman. As I said before, IDW, keep Mr. Eastman, keep one of the co-creators of the Turtles on here. He's been doing a fabulous job. I've been loving the series so far. It can't go wrong as long as you keep Eastman on there, because who better than a co-creator of the Turtles? Good stuff. I've been loving it. Thank you. So that's it, guys, for this week. As I said before, if you want to find me on Twitter, I think everybody can find me on Facebook. If not, just ask me, I'll tell you. But I'll send you the link to my Facebook channel. But yes, I'm on Twitter now. You can blame Destiny for that. But it's been fun being on Twitter, because I actually got to talk to some of my favorite writers, and they're actually tweeting me back. That's amazing. So now I can understand what my mentor Blue Goblin feels when Gail Simone tweets him back. Good stuff. But like I said, you'll see it. It's right there. No problem. But other than that, this is Mount Vernon Kid saying peace and love. Stay tuned. Keep it real as always. Tell me what you guys thought. Tell me what you guys picked up. And if you stayed with me for almost an hour, thank you very much. And other than that, y'all take care.